an incredible fan base.
A lot of people are cheering out there.
We're going to put a seatbelt on you to keep you in the booth.
Breaks a tackle at the 10, angles in, touchdown, and he has dominated this opener tonight.
This week, Virginia week. After a great win over East Carolina here for the podcast alongside Tony Haynes, Matt Chazanow with you. ECU game recap. One of the things we wanted to learn, I love what Coach Doran said, the way he said games are truth tellers. Like, now you know it. And I thought one of the truths we learned about NC State is great run D. We didn't know what DJ Elliott's scheme would result in. ECU could not run the ball. That was about 1 yard of carry.
Well, ECU coming in didn't know what the scheme was going to be either, and NC State used that to its advantage. We saw that a lot over week one in the college football season because you got so much turnover, not only on the rosters, but a lot of teams have changed staffs, they've changed coordinators. NC State, certainly one of those teams, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. So you think about East Carolina's plight. They were chasing ghosts in the preseason, especially when it comes to DJ Elliott. They had no idea what NC State's defensive alignments would look like, schemes, and I think that showed up the first three possessions of the game. I mean, NC State was getting in the backfield a lot. Pirates couldn't muster any kind of a running game. It was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and that was because they really didn't know what to expect. And I thought NC State, with the two new coordinators, maximized the advantage of being able to do some things that there's no way ECU could have prepared for. And that's one of the reasons you jump out to a 17-0 lead. But yeah, and one of Coach Doran's priorities coming into the preseason, and he changed, Tony Gibson left to go to Marshall. Defensively, he wanted to see more tackles in the backfield, more disruption in the backfield. For the most part, under Coach Gibson's watch as the coordinator, we saw a lot of that. It backed up somewhat last year. But you think about the difference in those two games, back-to-back. East Carolina in the bowl game, they rushed for 326 yards, 30 yards on 29 carries, 11 tackles in the backfield. What a big difference.
Okay, you touched on a quality segue here to another truth that was told. One of the wrinkles Coach Doran wanted to iron out, one of the statistical oddities of last year, was first quarter and really second quarter point disparity.
Right.
Pack got off to some really slow starts last year. Consistently, the Pack was in a hole after three quarters. I think 10 of the 13 games last year, the Pack was in a hole after the third quarter. 17-0 lead to start this ball game against ECU. So boom, that gets remedied right off the bat.
Yeah, so that means some of those goals were kind of fulfilled in that first game. You come out of the previous season and immediately, Coach Doran is going to make a list. Okay, we got to improve in this area, that area. He made a list, probably wrote it down, if not a mental list. And so stopping the run was high on that list.
Check.
Also getting off to a better start. They did that. That's why last year losing 4 one-possession games was so painful. And a lot of it was caused by slow starts.
Right.
Then you're fighting uphill the entire game. To their credit, they did a good job getting back in some of these games when they had those slow starts. But, man, it makes it so much easier to play the game, to call the game, to make decisions as a coach when you're playing from up front from the get-go at the beginning of the game like they did. And so, they certainly accomplished that goal. And, by the way, this was a one-possession game.
That's right.
It managed to win.
That's right.
So not very good in those types of games. And you just get the feeling that this is one of those teams, NC State, that is going to play a lot of close games.
Yeah.
And so good starts help, and then executing when winning time hits you in the face late in the fourth quarter.
Also helps to have new players emerge. Mm-hmm. Not that you necessarily needed new players at the wide receiver spot, right?
Yeah,
a group that's loaded: Wesley Grimes, Noah Rogers, Keenan Jackson, Terrell Anderson, and Teddy Hoffman.
Right.
Who's Teddy Hoffman? Teddy Hoffman had 93 yards receiving in his debut as a true freshman. Teddy Hoffman was fabulous.
Do you know what? Teddy Hoffman in his last high school game a year ago made himself a Florida legend, because it was in a playoff game that he had 240 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
And that was one of the more talked about performances in the state of Florida in the postseason. from last year. All credit goes to Joker Phillips, receivers coach. He gets the chance to coach that young man, and he brought him in. So Joker's doing pretty well. C.J. Bailey was one of his guys, and now you got Teddy Hoffman. I saw Coach Joker Phillips a couple of days ago, and I mean, he just could say enough good things about Hoffman and what he brings. Like you said, you already had weapons galore, and now you add to that arsenal with a young guy who certainly showed that he wasn't afraid of the big stage. Some of the traffic catches he made, contact catches he made, and C.J. Bailey he went to him like 4 straight times there in the first half.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work, so enjoy a Coca-Cola.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Your animals depend on you every day. So we build equipment you can depend on every day. Equipment that powers through mud, dust, and extreme weather. So cutting hay, feeding livestock, and managing land is easier. Loaded with intuitive, innovative features and tech, Case IH equipment isn't just built to work. It's built to work for livestock producers. Case IH, built by farmers.
Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
This segment of Pulse of the Pack is presented by Coca-Cola.
Here we go for trivia number 1. You may or may not have been given the answers to these.
No, well, I wasn't told that I needed to do research on this.
Okay, all right. So this player, making his debut, set a Coach Doran era record for most receiving yards by a freshman in his first game. Who is that player?
Now you're asking me a question that it's recent history, so I don't remember much about recent history. I can still remember games in 2001.
Let me put it this way. It's very relevant.
Very relevant?
It's very, very recent and relevant.
It's not Teddy Hoffman.
It is Teddy Hoffman.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
Do I get credit for answering correctly because I said it isn't Teddy Hoffman?
You were correct. Oh, 100%. Yeah, ring the bell. We need a bell. Ring the bell 1 for 1. What decade, this is a harder question. What decade includes the last year that the Pac and Virginia met in a non-league game?
The ACC started in 1954, so that would be 1948.
Oh, you nailed it. Wow.
Yeah.
Ring the bell on that.
And
Tony Haynes.
I did not broadcast that game. See, in case you're wondering. UVA and, Virginia and NC State were charter members of the ACC in 1954, and then they played every year, and then we had expansion, and now I think this is only the 4th time that Dave Doran is going.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And it's not even a conference game.
It's bizarre. It's crazy. All right, final question. Here we go. 2 for 2 is Tony Haynes. This one's really not fair. It's not very easy, just kind of relevant. ECU finished this last game with a run average of 1 yard per carry. You mentioned that. When is the last time the Pack held an opponent to 1 yard per carry? Hard question, but it's a great stat. It's a very rare thing.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Nate Irving was a linebacker here.
It's more recent.
Okay. And then maybe it would be more Drake Thomas as
it was 2023 against Wake Forest, which also felt relevant because we play the Deeks in a couple of weeks.
They're running a lot of RPOs.
Right. It's not, and also it's a very hard question.
Hold it instead of hand it off most of the time.
But I thought I wanted to highlight, and the reason why I went with that trivia nugget is feels important to highlight how good DJ Elliott's run D was. Sebastian Harsh, Kean Sloan, those guys were.
The corners tackle great too. Game ones are so unpredictable and volatile, and I think we saw that in week 1 in college football. I mean, some crazy games.
I think the first 3 weeks of the season, not the first game, there's a feeling out period going on in college football. There's a lot of new players on these rosters, a lot. And new coaches in some cases. And even if you have returning coaches, they may have changed some things in the offseason because their personnel is different now. 70 new players at UNC, And then they said that TCU had 41. So even though they're a returning staff, there's a lot of new people in the game, right? And when you have new players that can do new things, you do different things as coaches, even if you're not a new coach. And so there's an adjustment period, and that's where having these iPads in game helps you because you can watch the film and make in time adjustments, unlike what you could used to do where you couldn't ever watch it unless it was on the Jumbotron. But it's a different sport right now with all the stuff going on in the transfer portal, and you just have to do a great job as a team not beating yourself.
We're in this world now of hot takes, on podcasts and social media and talk radio. I know you don't concern yourself with all that kind of stuff, but I did listen to some of it this weekend, and the one common thread was people were drawing conclusions about teams after week 1.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, it's just a small sample size. It's just one game. Or when people do that, are they really falling into a trap?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season, man. And like I said in our press conference, and I told the team this, like if you just go back through the last 10 years, somebody in the national championship game is not undefeated. Somebody's in there. Ohio State was one of them last year, and they lost to Oregon during the season. You don't have to be perfect to get there. And week 1 certainly doesn't decide the outcome of your season. But that's what people do now. They like to get on these negative wagons and throw mud at everybody. And I know there's a lot being thrown at me all the time, and that's great. I like being dirty, so but it's about winning, man. And you find a way to win, and you find a way to get better. And that's it. You find a way to win, and you find a way to get better. And our goal is to be 2-0. And now that we've got one under our belt, take all the information from the film and try to improve and do it better than the team you're about to play.
Your animals depend on you every day. So we build equipment you can depend on every day. Equipment that powers through mud, dust, and extreme weather. So cutting hay, feeding livestock, and managing land is easier. Loaded with intuitive, innovative features and tech, Case IH equipment isn't just built to work. It's built to work for livestock producers. Case IH, built by farmers.
Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
When you have corners who don't mind tackling and, in fact, are good tacklers in space. I remember Anthony Smith in the first half of that game caught a little hitch right in front of the NC State bench, and corner came up, made a great tackle, because if he doesn't get him to the ground, Anthony Smith's off to the races. There was nobody else on that side of the field. Sometimes a corner making a tackle is the difference between no gain and an 80-yard touchdown. So Deion Sanders, arguably the greatest cover corner in the history of football, but he wasn't known as an outstanding tackler.
No.
So again, it's nice to have those corners that'll stick their nose in there and tackle like that.
The game was won by that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the last play of ECU's offensive possession was Jamel Johnson hit a big fella out on the, to me, the far flat, for the broadcast position, the far flat.
And if you don't think these coaches do a good job in their preparation, you would be wrong. And that play personifies what game week is all about and game preparation is all about. Because they got hurt on that play in the bowl game, kind of a little pick route there to the outside. And they rep that play a lot.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
The game.
There's another truth that was told. You're jogging my memory on how the secondary played. There were some questions. There weren't questions. I mean, we knew Devon Marshall was really good, but Jamel Johnson and Brian Nelson are new. Mm-hmm. Really nice players on the other side of the field from Devon Marshall, who played great last year. Jackson Vick at nickel was new. He played back end of last year, the last two ball games in particular. But the new corners, that duo, Johnson in particular, he's a hitter. Mm-hmm. He seeks contact. He was really effective. And Devon Marshall, I think, had 7 tackles. Caden Fordham in the box, great to have him back. Sack, 11 tackles, leads the team in tackles, looked good as new.
Yeah, Fordham and Sean Brown, they combined for 21 tackles.
Yeah, wow.
That's what you want out of your linebackers. If the guys in front of them are doing their job, then your linebackers are going to have a chance to make plays. We saw it over and over again when Drake Thomas was here and Isaiah Moore and Peyton Wilson, of course. You know, the defense and Coach Gibson's defense was set up for the linebackers to make the plays, but they still got to get people on the ground. And what a difference it makes getting Caden Fordham back. And he didn't miss a step. He played fast. He got people on the ground. You know, that was a big blow to that defense last year when he got hurt, because he was from that generation of those great linebackers that I mentioned. He came in when he had Isaiah Moore and Drake Thomas and Peyton playing in front of him. But boy, did he learn a lot. He learned a lot about the position, the culture, and what it takes to be an outstanding linebacker.
We are talking ball. We're here in Murphy Center alongside Tony Haynes, Matt Chazanow with you, and ecstatic to be joined now by the big man, by offensive line coach Garrett Tujague, one of our favorites. I don't know if we can pick favorites. I don't know if we're allowed to do that. So we'll say one of our favorites. How about that? Coach Tujague, thank you for the time.
I'll take it. Yeah. Always, anytime.
Hey, so let's get the broad spectrum view on how the offensive line played in the opener against East Carolina. How did they grade out for you?
Yeah, some guys graded out really high. Others struggled a little bit, and so it's created competition this week, which you got to love, man, when your guys are competing. Man, I thought we did a decent job of protecting number 11 in the pass game, which we take a lot of pride in that. ECU presented some really crazy fronts and twists. And I think in that game there was I've never gone against that many different fronts in one game, let alone probably 3 or 4 games. So it was awesome. Mental gymnastics, testing the young guys, putting together different schemes and stuff like that on the sideline. But obviously we want to run the ball better, and that's a huge emphasis this week. And so, but man, we're always trying to take care of the football and protecting those that carry it.
Do you end up making more adjustments in game one than maybe any other game?
Yeah, and I think you do, and I think every coordinator has their special little, hey, this will work against them or this will work against that. And so you see a few different things maybe that you didn't see as you're preparing, and that's why you got to trust your rules. I mean, that's why we have them, and so you apply your rules, and usually things work out. And we had a good feel. There was nothing really that surprised us, but again, there was just some different funky fronts, which, man, they really test your rules, which was actually a great thing to have happen week one.
Jacarius peak, right side to left side. How difficult is that to switch, to take everything and just flip it?
Yeah, again, in the middle of a season, it's probably more difficult. If you talk to NFL guys, because we had that same conversation with Anthony Belton, like how long is it going to take him? And they all feel it's a year. Again, with our training and how we train, just because you're the left tackle doesn't mean you take 100% reps as a left tackle. There's always got to be cross-training, especially if there's, thoughts of being at the next level, because you might be the second best tackle, but you think you're the left, but they need you at right. So we cross-train a lot here.
We've heard he's one of, if not the best basketball players on the football team. That's what other players have said. Like, he's their first pick in pickup.
He doesn't want to play that.
No.
I'll post him up. I will post him up.
Love that.
So, no, he is. He's a phenomenal athlete. And I'll tell you, man, talking about him, one of the most amazing strainers I've coached in 32 years.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. The energy and juice that he brings to the practice field on Saturday nights is unmatched. The kid knows how to be pinned, and he plays full throttle, and it's so much fun to coach him and be around him and be a part of that, and it's contagious. Yeah, but he is probably hands down the best basketball player on our team.
You spent a really good chunk of time in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And this is actually a non-conference game against UVA, kind of a fun little oddity, right?
Yeah.
Play a power league team that's in the conference, but out of league Saturday. What is the perspective of a UVA fan? To what degree can you look through their eyes and say, well, what are they thinking? What's the Charlottesville perspective of this ball game coming to work?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Coach Elliott over there, Tony Elliott, does a great job. And, man, I'm so fortunate to stay on his staff when the transition happened. And so forever grateful for that. And I think they're coming off a high, man. Their offense was clicking, did a really good job. The defense played fast and hard and tough. And he's done a good job of getting those guys to believe. And, again, Charlottesville was a great place. I loved it. We were there for 8 years. It was awesome, but they're coming to Raleigh.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Carolina Ford Dealers. See your Carolina Ford dealer, proud sponsor of NC State Athletics.
From protecting your teeth and gums, to restoring your smile, to sponsoring your local team, Tar Heel Periodontics is the premier periodontal practice of the Triangle community. Our team of highly skilled doctors provide dental care as individual as you are, working with you to build a personalized treatment plan to create the beautiful, healthy smile of your dreams. With offices conveniently located across the Triangle and Central North Carolina, you're never far from the Tar Heel Periodontics family. Visit our website or call now.
Mr. Wolf, you're all set. Complete perimeter protection installed and monitored 24/7.
No matter who you root for, we can all identify with the best in smart home security. CPI Security is the official security and smart home company of NC State Athletics. CPI Security. Identify yourself.
For 48 straight years, Ford F-Series have been the best-selling trucks in America. We got here by engineering breakthrough technology, redefining built Ford tough, and never settling for second best. But what's really made Ford F-Series the #1 selling trucks in America is you. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Bring it in, Old Dominion! We know that it takes hard work to be the best in the game. It starts up front with protection, making sure the freight arrives safe and damage-free. Then we work as a team, packing every shipment and running every route with precision. And we always manage the clock to be on time every time, so that every drive is a scoring drive. 1, 2, 3, OD!
Now that's the best in the game. No playoff needed. Old Dominion Freight Line, proud sponsor of college athletics.
Pulse of the Pack is sponsored in part by Coca-Cola. Fan work is thirsty work, so enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Snap left hashes, blitzes on, he's free, Bailey eludes it, runs to the right, has Green, no one there at the 10, and he scampers in! Bailey, touchdown, Packs on top! 27-24, PAT pending. Second rush TD of the day for Bailey, who had nobody near him as he breaks ground outside of the blitzer. With 6:39 to play in the third, PAT pending can put the Pack up by 4. Snap, Bailey, handoff, Smothers breaks a tackle now at the 5, makes a cut up the middle, touchdown! Hollywood Smothers scores again! 34-31 Pack, 45 seconds left third quarter. NC State marches down the field and scores again. First and 10 now at the Pac-12. Snap back to Morris. Flushed out right, locks it in. So intercepted! NC State picks it off in the end zone. There's an interception by Kean Sloan. 62 seconds left. That could seal it. In the end zone, he takes a knee, and Kean Sloan fronts the football, puts it in his gut, and picks it off. That will do it as NC State is 2-0 with a 35-31 win over Virginia and a defensive stand to win the game back-to-back weeks to start the year. Kean Sloan with the game-sealing, game-winning interception as NC State's a winner over Virginia, 35-31. Johnny, that was incredible coverage and a headsy play by Kean Sloan last year at Utah State, this year now with the Pack, and what a start to his NC State career he has had.
Yeah, well, Tony said it, that pretty much the whole game, Sloan was rushing the passer from that jack linebacker. He really was, he functionally was a defensive end. He was the end guy on the line of scrimmage coming from the end. And we'd have to watch the tape to know he may have dropped once or twice, but he wasn't dropping back in pad. This fooled completely Morris. Now Morris, I'm sure it isn't like he fooled him. He didn't see him out there. Morris saw a defender out there, but he thought he had the advantage. I think his player had the advantage. He was trying to throw that back shoulder. He realized he threw it kind of low, so he wasn't trying to get it over the top like a fade route in the back of the end zone. He didn't throw it far enough to the back shoulder. But I know he was the most surprised person. I'm talking about Morris now, the quarterback of Virginia, was totally surprised when look what he thought was a defensive lineman turned on the ball.
Yeah, could not have picked a better time for the first turnover forced this season to get, it was a fourth down stop and a great tackle out in the flat against East Carolina, but an interception on first down. Had to make that catch and did.
And they had all the momentum. They had completed long passes, and, third down was just a nightmare down for the NC State defense, particularly in the first half. I mean, Virginia was 10 out of 13 on third down. State couldn't get off the field, but they only allowed them 3 third down conversions in the second half. I thought a critical point in the whole game, you have not played well defensively in the first half. You get the ball back first in the second half. What do? Go right down the field and score. Right. Defensively, what do? Force a 3 and out for the first time. They had quarterback pressure. What does NC State do? Bam, goes right down the field and score. That turned the momentum of this game entirely on those 3 possessions early in the third quarter.